Landlords love to keep security deposits, so we're here to present 7 secret strategies to help you get your security deposit back. I'm Nicole from Low Income Relief, where we help millions of people save money and get free stuff. No matter how much you pay in a security deposit, it seems like it's never enough. Landlords are always looking for ways to get more money from you, even after you move out. Here are some tips and tricks that I use to get my deposit back. The first step to getting your security deposit back starts before you even move in. It is critically important that you take pictures and videos of the property before you move anything into it. This documentation gives you a point of reference when you move out so that you can protect yourself from being blamed for pre-existing damage or issues. The second step, of course, is to get photos and videos when you move out. Never leave the property without documentation. It has become increasingly common for landlords to refuse to do a physical walkthrough with their tenants at the end of their lease. Our last landlord said, "Just bring us the keys and we'll walk through it later and let you know what we find." Well, that doesn't give me a lot of assurance, and it actually puts the renter in a dangerous situation because you're utterly dependent on their findings. Protect yourself by taking detailed photos and videos just before you leave the property, after all of your belongings have been removed and the building has been cleared out. The last thing I do before I lock the door is go through with a camera and photograph anything, and that helps me fight issues that landlords bring up later. Third, know the law. As you enter these complex negotiations with your landlord, it is critically important that you understand the state laws that govern security deposits. Knowing these rules can help you immensely because they often prescribe penalties for landlords who do not follow the rules. If the landlord refuses to return the deposit, especially if they refuse to explain why they aren't returning it, the law may be able to give you some leverage. The better you understand the law, the better you will be able to negotiate with your landlord. Fourth, remind them of the timeline if they don't comply. In the laws we just talked about, most states have rules about how long landlords can wait to return the deposit. According to NOLO, the rules generally range from 14 days to 60 days depending on where you live. Tennessee is the only state that does not have a statutory deadline. Although I am not a lawyer, I like to review the law and then wait until the day after the landlord was required to either return the deposit or explain why they weren't returning it. If I don't hear from them by then, I'll send an email that simply states something like this: "Dear landlord, the state law requires the security deposit to be returned within this number of days. Please remit the payment immediately, or I may be compelled to contact a lawyer to exercise my rights in this matter." A simple statement like that is usually enough to get their attention and get them to follow the law. Fifth, make sure that you get an itemized list of charges. Some states have specific rules about what landlords can deduct from the security deposit and how they have to account for those items. Many states require landlords to provide itemized lists of charges that are deducted from the security deposit. This was true in our state, when our landlord claimed over $3,000 in miscellaneous repairs. I let them know that bundling all the repairs under miscellaneous hardly counted as an itemized list. I demanded to see an actual itemized list of expenses. And although the rental company pushed back and tried to avoid giving me this list, I reminded them that state law required it, and I offered to hire a lawyer to sort it all out. Eventually, they had no choice but to respond with an itemized list in accordance with the law, and once I had that list in hand, the real work began. And that brings us to number 6, dispute everything. The list that the rental company sent me was both hilarious and pathetic. The rental company sent an itemized list that included absurd charges, like an $820 carpet cleaning I knew they didn't complete, about $100 for smoke detector batteries, $308 for missing light bulbs that weren't really missing, and a $77 charge to simply turn on the disposal and make sure it was working properly. My husband and I were absolutely baffled by most of their claims because my move-out videos showed that we had left the property in good repair. We were confident that the company had not actually done any of these things because the home had been a disaster when we moved in. There were holes in the walls and it was just a mess. Anyway, we replied to their email with another email. We disputed almost every single item in their list. And you can approach a dispute like this in many different ways. For example, you can dispute the validity of the entire charge. You can dispute the amount of money they're charging, or you can dispute whether or not the item even counts as a billable repair. For example, the $77 disposal check was not something that could be fairly charged to the tenant. There was nothing wrong with the disposal, they'd simply flipped a switch to make sure it was working properly. That wasn't something they could bill to me as a repair, so the rental company dropped it without another word. When I questioned the amounts that they were charging for the carpet cleaning, light bulbs, and smoke detector batteries, the rental company backtracked hard. They said, "Oh, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. Those are only estimates. We haven't done any of the work yet. That's just what we think it'll cost." But that's not how this is supposed to work. So I reminded them that it was their responsibility to complete the repairs and return our security deposit within a certain amount of time according to state law. And you know what? It worked. We got our money back. Of course, the outcome could have been very different. I've dealt with other companies on behalf of friends and relatives that are much more stubborn. In these cases, I recommend using social pressure to get your deposit back, and this is the final tip I have for you. Use public reviews on websites, including Yelp, Google, and Facebook, to bring awareness to the issue. Get your friends to like, comment, and share your reviews, because that helps get the company's attention because they can immediately see that that review is making a difference. And finally, if that doesn't work, legal aid may be able to help you. You can find a list of free legal aid resources in your community at lowincomerelief.com/legal-aid. Best of luck to you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more ways to save money and get free stuff.